I can be the sun elf to your moon.
That's terrible.
no.
That's not even
I-
so
I-
bad
I-
it's
I-
good.
I-
That's
I-
just
I-
bad.
It's just like
mine's
quote
romantic.
Khaleesi, but wrong. Like,
I've got a couple of nipples coming your way.
oh,
So, where we left off, you just finished destroying goblins in brutal, brutal ways. You finally like, okay, none more in the
wait,
bushes.
did
I imagine
everybody
you
kill somebody except for me?
I killed
Ollie?
him, yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
I think so.
Damn.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
go ahead,
I
Ollie.
was so sure you were gonna be like, here's these goblins. You were gonna do like some horrible spell that just blows two of them up. I was expecting it. But yeah, I imagine you kind of check the bushes for more. There's not any more. You're quiet. It's quiet. You're probably not quiet. What do you do? I'm gonna eat some biscuits.
I'm going to go over to Forak and say, how heroic was I on a scale of 1 to 10? How did you think I was cool? Do you think I impressed Caitlin? Was that cool?
Where's my cloak?
Never mind. Don't matter.
Well, while that's happening, I'm probably talking to Vale, like asking about hey, so those your archery skills are quite impressive. Or they're not perhaps surprising for an elf. You got some good shots off there. Just sort of general small talk about the performance.
Yes, back at the academy we had to spend a long time training, and swordplay was not my forte.
Well, you certainly dropped that goblin when you put your dagger through him. So I can't see anything to complain about there about your sword skills either.
Gillen's... oh, sorry, go on.
I'm just gonna. Vale's gonna go around picking up what arrows he can find, or like most of the time he's staring at Forak like, "What are you?" He's pretty weirded out by this.
Remember, all of my rotted out areas have been completely replaced by stone, so there's chunks of stone all over my body. So you're not seeing like exposed ribs or like missing flesh. It's just stone is in that spot, which is fucking weird. But he is looking around for his cloak.
And
6.
also,
Someone's saying you're muted, Ollie. Did you fix that? Did you hit it
Yep,
on OBS
I've been
by accident?
talking. It's because I'm
Okay.
eating biscuits. I accidentally muted myself on stream and forgot. You got arrows. That's about it.
I will also go across. I will also. You see me stealing myself for a moment because, and then go across to Forak. Like I've been clearly bit. His appearance is a little bit odd, but I go across with a smile and sort of offer a hand because I know he probably feels a bit. He's not quite happy about how that fight went. I just sort of offer him a hand and say in Dwarvish, "That was a good fight. It was good to have you at my back," sort of thing.
He grunts at that, and then with your saying, "It's good to have you at my back," he actually grabs you like by your hip and like rough turns you so he can actually see your back, and like looks at the spot where the spell kind of like bounced off of you, and checks the wounds there and sees if there's much scarring or injury whatsoever. If it's just
Much
like
more
a
important
superficial
is
one.
the arrow in her chest.
Yeah, he's not worried
that's
about
true.
that
I
though.
forgot about that.
Now
he's
the
not
pain
worried
would
about the
start
arrow
to
in
set
chest.
in. I know, but
Yeah,
To
Caitlin is
Caitlin.
now suddenly upon doing that, she sort of like upon him doing that, she sort of puts her hands up like she's a little bit flustered, and then she sort of looks down and sees the arrow and is like, "Oh, yeah, there's an arrow."
Sorry. And like he'll more gently like try to like ease her down because she's so fucking tall compared to him. And she'll like bend her over a bit so he can better look at her shoulder where the burn mark is because he doesn't realize what she's talking about. So he like pulls her down a little bit so he can look at the burn mark, and he's like, "I'd be more careful," and starts like trying to examine the burn.
And she would blush a little at this, but like, yeah, okay, sort of thing. Tries to sort of slightly remove the top of the chainmail so he can get a better view. I think the bigger concern is the arrow, though.
What?
Yeah, at this point Vale's gonna walk over, have a sort of calculating look at that arrow and be like, Yes, that does not look good.
I'm gonna snap off the head of the arrow and pull the shaft out. I'll gladly make a medicine check. I do it very.
Yep, medicine check
There's
away.
no gentleness. There's no gentleness. I just do it. Roll.
Yeah, medicine check.
And then I'm going to pour whiskey on the wound.
Straight into the heart.
It's... you don't make it worse. It's something that most of you, probably aside from Gilwyn, knew had to be done at some point sooner or later. Gilwyn might find it incredibly scary to see that. But it's not pleasant. It's painful, but it's not going to cause any worse harm. Going to be a scar.
I will sort of wince in pain at that getting done, but sort of not actually say anything, and then I will just put my hands on where the wound was and use my lay on hands to effectively try and prevent any major scarring.
It's while there's a wound that you pour whiskey on, and with a little bit of sort of actually greenish magic.
Yeah.
It starts to stitch back together. Not perfectly, slowly, lethargically.
Better than it was going to be.
Better than it would cure on itself, yeah.
I say, like, under my breath as I see these three, I just sort of say, I helped as well. Okay. And just sort of walk to it.
Can I make a perception check to see if I hear that?
You can decide if you hear that.
Well, I would actually, to be honest, given what Caitlin's like, she would probably have. She's now spoken to Vale and to Forak.
She has to now speak to Gilwyn.
She'd go over to Gil and say, so Gil, your assistance in the battle was greatly appreciated as well. I heard you distracting that hobgoblin, and you got a couple of hits in.
Well, it's one of my first battles. I would count myself as a sort of amateur of the combats. You handled yourself very well. You're clearly a very well trained swordy person.
I sort of look at the warhammer that's back on my.
Yeah, you didn't even use the sword.
Warhammery person. Sorry.
Look back at him and smile and say, "Yes, well, thank you. You did very well for an amateur."
Oh well, thank you very much. And I just I think I've still got the torch in my hand, so I sort of walk to the other two.
Oh, when you come over with the torch, I'm gonna snatch it out of your hands quickly, and then start looking around for my cloak on the ground.
Yeah, you can find it without much trouble, and then that's where most of you left most of your stuff. You can sort of re-cloak.
Yeah, I'll go.
I will.
Is this going to be like a Pokemon thing? Are you going to wear the cloak until fighting starts?
I'm
down
Pokemon
for it.
Reference.
I'm just saying.
I don't get the Pokemon reference.
Turn the hat.
Oh, Ash Ketchum's hat. Yeah. So yeah. After he puts the cloak on, he then kind of goes back over to sit down at that same rock where he was before, as though nothing ever happened. But as he leans down to touch the rock, all of a sudden, all those stones fall off of his body and roll right back into the perfect spots, as though the rock was never disturbed in the first place. And he's kind of like, ugh, and sits himself back down with the hood back pulled over his head and everything like that. So
at that point, all that stone that comes down, is that out of all of rotting flesh and whatnot becomes visible?
Well, aside from the cloak, yes. You know.
How much of that do we see? That is the question.
The cloak is already on.
Yeah,
Yes.
you definitely can tell something's going on, but yeah, you can't piece together the exact.
Do I see rocks spilling out?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like it's like his
sucked up earlier.
sleeve. The rocks are just sort of pouring out, and then perfectly. They don't even fall where they would fall. They fall and then roll where they were before, as if it was not touched. Some kind of
I was
gross.
about to make a little quip, and then I realised that they are just turning back into the stone, and I just don't say anything because I'm getting freaked out now.
I mean, Caitlin had a good view of him just take a knife, just break a knife. Anyway.
Yeah, but Caitlin's too polite to say anything about it. She just goes back and sits back down and starts eating strawberries again. Like, this is
he packed strawberries? Alright.
Yeah.
I think Forak wanted
found a
to
shield and
eat
everything.
goblin, but whatever.
Yeah,
so,
I could go for some straws.
You can sit and eat straws. Camping? Sleeping? For the nighting?
Camping, sleeping, for the nighting.
Kind of sitting there going,
Yeah, he's doing that thing again.
Can I make a perception check on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Because now it's like very obvious that like he's lit as well. He's just doing something gross.
I'm gonna make a disgust check.
Perception 15. I'd say that's enough. Scott, why don't you give me a vague description of what you're doing?
Was it 15?
Yeah.
Well, he's not doing anything with his nethers. So...
No. That's out of the
So
way.
that
That's
was
where you look
fair.
immediately. And you're like, oh.
But whatever he's doing, it requires like vigorous motion, and you often see him reaching down with his face. So he's like biting something to break something, and then he kind of will sit there and work rhythmically for a little while, like maybe a shoulder or maybe over by his side or something like that. He works on something vigorously for again like a rhythmic motion, and all of a sudden like kind of like reach down and bite something loose again, and he'll sit there and play with something in his hands, and then rinse and repeat. Repetitive motion, bite something free, play with something in his hands. Repetitive motion, bite something free. And it's kind of like you can't quite make out what it is that he's doing, but he does it on different parts of his body. He does it only for the entirety of 4 hours if you're even awake for the entire
Yeah,
thing.
you probably fall
And then he
asleep
just
by
kind of
then.
like gets up and starts walking around almost like he's trying to stretch out like, his old injuries or whatever.
Right. I'll not say anything. I'm freaked out.
Time to go to bed.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
So yes, exactly. Gilwyn and Caitlin, you need to sleep.
I think before that, Caitlin would speak up and say, "I realise that we have a elf with us. I believe you would go into trance rather than sleep. But unless you want to take all the watches, I suggest we have a sleeping rota." Obviously, not realising what's up with Thorak.
Yes.
I'm not
trust
sure.
the elves' eyes.
I don't feel like we will be attacked again tonight.
I
But-
don't care about your feelings. I don't trust the elves' eyes. Elves are foolish and look too much into themselves and around them. Our watch.
Sort of does double take that on your own, but you need to sleep, surely.
I'll be fine. It's not like I worked up much sweat. I did more harm to my friends than earn exhaustion.
And she's like, she was about to object, but when you say that, she realizes you're clearly feeling a bit guilty, and she just sort of backs off and subsides and says, "Well, that is appreciated. Then I'll try and get some rest." And sort of slumps down into the bedroll.
I'm already lying down trying to get to sleep.
Where's your bedroll placed, Caitlin?
Yeah, we need a description of the camp. So Thorak is sitting on the rock, same rock, a meter away, probably facing closer to the road, is Vale's bedroll. Or are you actually laying in bed? You don't need to. You're an elf.
Oh yeah, he's on it. I'm lying.
Is he just
Arms
laying on
like
top
that,
of it, like,
leg
for
up,
comfort?
Just relaxing.
Like
Important
most,
question.
most elves, which Caitlin definitely would know. They usually meditate sitting down. This guy started to meditate fucking reclining.
Important question is he downwind or upwind from me?
Upwind.
Upwind? Okay. Good for you.
Yeah. Not a pleasant smell of
Note
that,
to
man.
self: always
Just take a-
camp upwind.
He's like a Pumbaa. My friends never sent downwinds, and it was a shame. Oh, a shame.
But where are Caitlin and Gilwyn in the camp?
Well, as being a bit closer to the road, did you, or a bit further from the
Vale's
road?
a little closer to the road than the rest of them.
Okay. Caitlin would probably be in a position to be in a rough triangle with Thorak and Vale, so she'd be off a bit to the right. I don't know where Gilwyn would be. Probably further to the right of her. But
So we're to the side of the road.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I'm as far away from the road as I can be while still remaining in this sort
Yeah,
of vicinity of the other guys.
Okay. So you sleep without problem. You probably, sleeping rough under the stars. Yeah, there's a relaxing side to it, but you were also attacked, and those bodies start to attract flies and whatnot, and there is just this general maggoty smell. That stench of death that surrounds maggots. It's very noticeable in the morning. But Forak was sort of up and about, walking around. I assume Vale was laying down the entire Tiovesti, just relaxing.
So Vale was lying down, but once he finished the necessary sort of amount of trance, he was awake. He doesn't really trust Forak enough to keep watch all night, so he got that out of the way quick, and he was pretty weirded out when partway through, Forak stops all his fidgeting and rustling under there and then starts wandering around quietly, just having a little stretch.
That's what I do. Every now and again, just stop fidgeting and do a little walk around, do a little stretch.
I think you and I have very different vigorous motions when we're fidgeting, though.
Do a little stretch and a bend.
Do a little bend. Okay, so it's morning. It's a chill morning. It's still quite cold time of year. It's very, very early spring. You're not troubled in your sleep. I imagine the rustling of Forak, he's not a quiet fellow, would stir you a little bit, but not enough to mean you get bad sleep or anything like that. So you'll wake up.
He's clearly
rested.
taking great care in it. It's just triggering everyone's ASMR. They're just loving it. He's just like...
So you wake up, and it's almost like, aside from this uncomfortable smell, it's not even like a bad smell. You're far enough away from the corpses. And I imagine Forak probably would have moved them once he realised that they started to attract. No, left to just see what happens.
Do they smell?
Yes.
I don't know if I would notice that.
Yeah, that's the thing. So there's
they
a
smell like
bad
goblins.
smell. It's not the smell you want to wake up to, honestly. It's not like a smell of sausages or anything. But that's you.
Oh,
You're
nice
waking up.
juicy sausage.
A go.
Eyes.
Who's the first one?
sort of... Sorry.
No. I was gonna say who's the first one up because I might be staring at you as you wake up.
It would be Vale would be the first one to.
Yeah, but he's not really doing
He's
anything.
not really stepped.
Yeah.
Caitlin is used to getting up early when traveling, and she's also in sort of a nighty sort of person. So she'd probably get up like as soon as there's any light sort of starts to show over the horizon, sort of thing. Be up and busy.
Not long after Caitlin would wake up, I think Gilman would sort of return from his slumber. Return to the mortal realm.
Yeah. I know that feeling well. Is there anything you want to discuss before you're travelling, or are you just going to keep on going down the road? I mean, it's a fairly straight road. The only thing is the border. The border is not trouble, but it is an event. You probably won't get there today, although, remember, Caitlin thinks it's a lot longer to go than it actually is. Which actually, I feel like Gilwyn is the person who's done this most recently. So he knows that it's probably in 2 days you will be beyond the Turquoise Wall, which is the Dwarven Lands. You will just have entered the Dwarven Lands, probably will camp just within it, like you're just camping outside the city now. Within walking distance of it.
Yeah, so I say something very similar to the rest of them, and say we should probably get going soon enough. But does anyone want to eat? Because I'm feeling a little hungry. That smell. It reminds me of sausages.
Yeah.
Really gets me going.
I'm not hungry.
You said that'd be good.
However, if you'd like, I could carve up some goblin and see if I can sear the meat.
The one goblin within view of your camp, like the one that you killed first, is sort of hanging out of a bush, and you can see there's like actually like a squirrel or something chewing on its flesh, and you like look over and like
I lick my lips.
yeah, 2 meals.
I just found seasons.
Have I got any strawberries left, or have we finished them all?
You've got enough for the morning. You probably can't really carry strawberries that would be worth eating.
No.
The rations that you got from Aradia are mostly, a lambus bread-like material, a very simple bread that doesn't go bad, but it being wood elven, it actually does come in a variety of flavors, but all of the flavors are disappointing.
Well,
On the bright side, you
Caitlin-
also have 10 portions of not elven.
Yeah, yeah.
rations.
Any
Yeah.
rations that you had before and Forax rations, I would assume are like jerky and all that sort of stuff, like proper traveler's food.
Well, because she's got the strawberry, she to Forak's suggestion, she will sort of look a little bit, just a tiny bit perturbed before mastering her face, and be like, thank you, but I've still got some strawberries there. They'll do for this occasion. Yes, maybe next time. Sort of look. Even Caitlin is a little bit weirded out.
Trying to be polite.
Yeah.
Forak, I will take you up on a little bit of that goblin meat. I've never had it. I want to try it. Let's do it.
Caitlin gives him sort of a shocked look.
Yeah.
He says, I'd love to do that for you, mate, but I warn you that seared goblin is not as good as stewed. I'll make the seared, but don't judge stewed based off steered.
Don't worry. I tap my nose.
And so he'll actually go over there and raise his battle axe and just like chop off an arm, chop off an arm,
Caitlin
chop off a
winces
leg.
every action.
And he brings back the 3 different limbs, 1 leg and 2 arms, and then he puts that away and he pulls out a dagger. He doesn't even clean off the battle axe. He just puts it away. Pulls out a dagger and he just starts flaying the flesh in like long sweeping motions, much like peeling a carrot, all the flesh off of it. And at the same time, like he looks around for a bit, and when he sees like there's a pile of like wood nearby, he'll just cast firebolt on it, so it's like and just ignites.
Yeah.
So
I'll say that
Wasn't
you don't
that
need to
Vale's
roll
death?
for cooking. Yes. You don't need to roll for cooking. This is very simple. This is something you've
I'm
done a lot of
excited
the
for some
time.
Seared goblin steak.
This is sort of something you've grown up growing. It's actually part of your memory. Of course, not every I can't remember if you're a mountain dwarf or hill dwarf.
he can't either.
Yeah, whichever way, it's not like this isn't Faerun. Not every dwarf clan eats goblin, but
course.
some are whoever.
In
Faerun
Faerun, they don't either. And
It's-
the regions where Otto's from, they don't eat goblin.
Exactly.
They're way too refined for that. Those are gold dwarfs.
But you don't need to roll for cooking. Anyone who's going to eat it definitely needs a Constitution roll. Aside from Thorak.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Oh boy.
What
I mean,
if I-
in most editions, I don't have a constitution, so I'm cool with it.
You
What
don't
if-
need it because you're actually fine with it.
Yeah,
Could I
be
cast?
fine.
I'm immune to disease.
Would I have to do a Constitution roll if I cast Prestidigitation? on
It would be an easier roll. It doesn't change the text. It'll make the taste nicer. You can make it taste like chicken. Great. It's the bad thing about Goblin is it's really
still
awkward.
Goblin meat.
It's a really awkward texture, and
Right.
it was rotting a little bit, and yeah.
One day it's a matured steak.
Yeah, exactly.
Only
It's
hung
not
for
gone
one
that
day.
far.
It's not even the 28th day.
Yeah.
In that case,
I'm
then
gonna go.
I will. So I assume he's cooked it all now and it's ready to eat.
Yes. Eat
Okay,
it. Eat up.
Hey.
I will cockily, because I've got the spell in my mind.
Yes.
Haha. Well, okay. I'll take a
Like
bite
you've
of
done this
goblin meat.
before. Like
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
the grossest grog in the world, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's delicious.
Lug.
Yeah.
I'll
Give
just
me a
cute-
con save.
I'll cutely put the meat in my mouth as if I'm like, oh no.
Meanwhile, like Vale is eating it, and compared to some of the meals you've had in the last few years, it's passable. Not so much you'd go back for seconds, but you're like, I got the sustenance I needed for the morning. Gilwyn, you don't puke. But it was one of those things where masking the taste almost made it worse. Because it doesn't really mask it, it just kind of like covers it in something else.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's uncomfortable to eat. You probably are making a not very pleasant face, but still eating it. You don't puke, but after you get moving, because I assume there's nothing else that you're going to be doing, you just start getting on the road, you do start to feel the
It's funny.
Yeah.
I'm giving like an appreciative nod at the elf who second time now has surprised me with something about him as I'm mindlessly slapping another steak on Gillen's plate. He's gonna like,
It's delicious. I try and feign that I've enjoyed it. But
Yes. Okay.
until
so
you
get-
vomit on the road.
He never pukes. He does stop behind a tree more than the rest of you. So is there anything you need to anything you want to talk about when you're on the road, or you just want to travel? I mean, you could be having simple conversations about stuff. You're actually, weirdly enough, getting along compared
There's
to
one question.
yeah.
Forak, I noticed that you do not seem to hobble in battle. Why was this?
I have abilities that allow me to speak to the earth. The earth comes when I call it, and I use it. And it makes battle better, though apparently not good enough.
Interesting. I have not encountered this form of magic. Though, to anyone out on the sea, it would be entirely useless, so I am not surprised.
The sea, is that the smell on you?
Yes, let's
thought-
go with that. The salt, the air, the freedom.
I thought the smell of salt was you sweating in panic.
I was a little worried you might hit me with one of your attacks.
Yeah, okay. And he'll actually, with that, he'll actually take a swig of his own liquor again, and gesture for you to have some from the same flask this time, if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, go on then. This has got to be better than that other bad stuff, right?
Oh, it is so much better than the bad stuff. The problem is, like, I don't know if you're the kind of person that looks before you sip. Like, in real life, I'm the kind of person that always wipes it before I sip from it, even if it's my own glass. So I don't know if you're the kind of person that looks first, but, like, if you're not, you take a sip from it and you're like, wow, this is way better. What is that? And you have something like on your lip, and it looks like a chunk of flesh or something that's like on your lip. as
Very
you do
good.
it.
I hope that is goblin.
They often call it dwarven mouthwash. Their whiskey, you know.
Oh no.
It's good. It's useful. So
But it's good. It's good liquor. It's good whiskey.
good liquor. Horrible. Also, you know where the screw of the lid gets in. There's just sort of a greyish mush in the ridges by now. It's
Oh god.
yeah, it's uncomfortable. But aside from
I'm gonna
that,
start retching in real life.
aside from the uncomfortableness of Vale having that, and Gilwyn has a little bit of an unset stomach. And you're trying to eat lambus bread because, you know, sometimes like, oh, I'm feeling a bit pukey, I'll have some bread. And it's not like bready enough.
Yeah.
It's just like, it doesn't help at all. But no, you walk absolutely fine. Like I said, it's a straight road. It goes over some hills. It does go through a tunnel at some point. But it's a straight road. It is straight road. There are paths off the way. You don't care about that. You know the way you're going. You could go off to stop in a village. You don't need to. And you end up camping at the end of the day. More like last time. But, you know, probably not going to get attacked by goblins this time. I mean, we'll see.
So a nice day traveling then.
Yeah, like it's actually pretty uneventful. Like I said, you probably end up having small conversations, a little bit more about yourselves, that kind of thing. And I actually imagine a lot of it is Caitlin explaining the importance of this road. Because it's such a... It's not as important as the King's Road. That's far more important, but this road's still important and all that kind of thing.
And you can clearly see like the joy on Caitlin's face as she's explaining. It's completely gushing about this and like all the elven history behind it that she knows.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you camp, you eat, You go to sleep.
Caitlin will, when we camp again, Caitlin will go off just
Go
looking.
foraging.
For,
Give me a survival roll.
just, this is Caitlin's
One of you
habit.
is going to go with them. Don't need to worry about that so much.
Probably find nothing today.
Oh,
Wait, well,
boy.
I got my natural one out of the way on something relatively inconsequential, I suppose. Now I'm gonna fall over a tree.
Yeah, yeah.
If I was a mean DM, this would be like giant badger
You
town.
feed them
Poison
poisonous
toads.
frogs.
Yeah.
Check out these
Well,
berries.
Tree
They've got
toads.
limbs.
poor Gilwin's never gonna get over the upset stomach.
I particularly offer them to Gil, like completely innocent. They.
I'd trust her as well. I'd be like, oh, these are obviously fine.
you actually don't find anything. In fact, you get a little lost, and you were probably going with Gilwin, and then you're like, oh, he's probably playing some songs, and then you're really into it, and you're like, oh, is this? No, this mushroom. If I breathe near this mushroom, I am going to space, and all that kind of thing, and you kind of do some checks, but you don't find anything. You maybe find a little more berries that you can snack on the way, but you end up getting a little bit lost, and you come back almost at morning. You know, they're like, oh no, she knows how to forage. She's been talking about it. She said that over this way there's usually a blah 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 blah. So you come back. I don't know if you're even disappointed or annoyed.
No, she would probably just
You
be
just
like
didn't
a
get to
little bit
sleep.
embarrassed, but still smiling.
I'm like rubbing my hands ready for more strawberries, like really excited.
Nothing.
Oh,
You
finally.
see, because she's not got like a basket or anything. You see as she walks back, like goes over some bushes. Nothing. You eating lambda bread.
I feel sorry for Gilwin now. I feel sorry for disappointing him.
He's like a little puppy, all excited when you
Yeah.
came through.
She would probably actually she would be a little bit embarrassed and smiling about her own misfortune and getting lost, but she would actually be apologetic to Gil, like because he followed her around. She'd be like, I'm sorry I couldn't find anything on this occasion.
It's okay. There'll be plenty of opportunities for Gilwin to disappoint you later.
And with that, why don't we take our last break for an hour or so of more walking? Walking! It's the
Walking
most fun
sim.
part of D&D.
2017.
Walk simulator.
Walking!
Now.
Orc simulator!
Walk simulator. I'm walking here.
Hey, I'm walking here, simulator!
Oh,